Hello and welcome to Afternoon Tea with Karen. I have been reviewing a Four Corners program called Our Sister Brought Home a Nazi, uncovering the rise of extremism in Australia. However, it appears to be about spruiking a government program that goes with the anti-vilification legislation. The last 2 points: investigate community-led interventions to combat extremism and de-radicalisation approaches, and provide funding for further research.
Just after my son turned 17, he wanted to go on a boxing weekend. And I thought, oh, that's nice. But the weekend was across borders in New South Wales. I said, okay, I need phone numbers, I need information, I need to know where you're staying, who you're with, and what it's all about.
Police swooped on a group of masked...
That evening, Emily turns on the news.
I kept seeing videos coming out of these group of masked kids in the train station.
She sees Thomas Sewell, one of the leaders of the neo-Nazi group, the National Socialist Network.
I was seeing Thomas Sewell making one of his speeches, and my son was standing right beside him.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Avani, nice to meet you.
You're welcome.
So these are your three boys on the wall?
Yes, they are. You are in high school, and my eldest just finished uni, and he's travelling.
This meeting has been a long time in the making.
We're just your normal family.
Parents of radicalised children don't usually speak up. Emily is the exception.
That's in Sydney. That was Australia Day.
Where did you see this photo? Was it online or...?
This, right on the 6 o'clock news.
This photo?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so where is your son?
He's right over there.
Yeah. How did you feel when you saw him in this photo?
Devastated. Absolutely devastated. I don't think they're...
We've changed Emily's name and we're not identifying her son.
look like a boxing week.
When we start filming, he's a minor.
No, this was... I thought, this is war. You literally started a war on my family.
Can you tell me a bit about what your son was like when he was growing up?
Quiet, intelligent, loves animals, reading, loves music, loves his sports.
It was when her middle son turned 16 that she noticed he was changing.
You have your average grumpy teenager, but this was different. There was less respect. He was silent a lot. During COVID, he had a hard time. He felt like things were not going the right way in the country, and the government wasn't doing the right thing. He does have really strong political views, which is fine. I felt something was off and I couldn't pinpoint what. I did not think he would be involved with a neo-Nazi organization.
No to the police! No to the police!
Emily says her son met the NSN at a rally against the referendum for an Indigenous voice to Parliament in 2023.
We have a voice as well, and our voice is that it's against white people.
They got talking and he ended up training with them. They offer him boxing lessons. I believe the sense of companionship and belonging and the fitness part was the biggest drive for him to be part of something. And then slowly hold them in until you find your kid at their monthly gatherings while they're reading from Hitler's delusional Mein Kampf, as it's the Bible.
After 6 months of pushing, Emily managed to get her son into a Victoria Police program aimed at getting people to move away from extremist groups.
I had to make a lot of phone calls. It's not that you call them up and you get in. It's a lot of pushing and a lot of trying and, well, almost nagging to get in. As a family, we'd like to see what helps.
She's hesitant to go into detail, but what Emily can tell us is that her son has a case management team and meets regularly with a mentor.
He is spending time with an adult who doesn't judge him, and I believe it's helping him. Our whole family is involved. I think he's on the right path.
Emily's experience is unusual. Others we've spoken to have struggled to get their loved one into an early intervention program. In Australia, official programs to help people turn away from extremism are run by state and territory police and governments as part of a federal government strategy. The term that's broadly used is Countering Violent Extremism, or CVE.
It's quite complicated in Australia. Most of it is law enforcement and intelligence sort of run. It really looks at securitisation, so we need to detect, arrest, detain, disrupt, those sorts of things. But essentially countering violent extremism is all the work before that. So it's trying to identify the factors that might cause people or groups of people to move through that process towards violent extremism. It's about how do you intervene when people have started to make that move.
While these programs exist, they're not easy to find. So when you Google something like "my son is radicalised, what should I do?", one of the first things that comes up is the federal government's Living Safe Together website. It has information about how to identify signs of violent extremism, but if you want to get help for someone, the top suggestion is to report them to the National Security Hotline or the police.
Having worked in state government and been part of some of those intervention programs previously, they are very difficult to actually find where do I go and who do I ask for help, and having some confidence that I can get that help in a way that is actually positive.
We've obtained figures that show only 6 people have been referred to a federally funded CVE program via the National Security Hotline since July 2023. Not all of them were deemed suitable. Families have told us they don't want to report their kids to authorities.
So that's the real issue, is that we have an actual gap of service delivery, particularly for those people who already don't have a lot of trust in government, who feel marginalised in the community, who for all sorts of reasons have a distrust of authority.
The website also recommends contacting a New South Wales support hotline called Step Together, which the federal government plans to nationalise. But we've discovered when you click that link, it takes you to the wrong website, to one that appears to have something to do with self-help and psychology, but nothing to do with the Step Together hotline. After we alerted the Department of Home Affairs to the problem with this link, it was fixed. And later, in a statement, a spokesperson said they're upgrading the Step Together website. We asked Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, the Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke, and Minister for Youth Anne Ali for interviews. All declined.
I'm about positive.
We then approached the Prime Minister at a press conference. On anti-Semitism locally, we've heard from the families of neo-Nazis who are struggling to get early intervention support.
The families of neo-Nazis?
Yeah. What is your government doing to fund and ensure those people are being stopped before they commit violent attacks?
Sorry, I'm not aware of the discussion with families of neo-Nazis or where that has occurred. So I'm reluctant to dive into a response about families of neo-Nazis without knowing the concern there. Can I say this? So my government is a government that opposes hate and seeks to support multiculturalism, that supports harmony, that supports social cohesion. And one of the things that I've done is to appoint Peter Khalil as the Special Envoy on social cohesion. Thanks very much.
The government, responding to pressure after a wave of anti-Semitic attacks, has also announced mandatory minimum jail sentences for terror crimes and displaying hate symbols. But experts say intervention should come well before a crime is committed.
It's a struggle in this country when we have such a focus currently on a tough on crime agenda. So it's very difficult for us to be able to shift our view of policing, law enforcement, consequences are the answer to all of this, to how do we do intervention really well to prevent those risks from being present in the first place.
The government's also committed $106 million in funding to countering violent extremism over 4 years. But no recent review into the federal CVE program has been made public. So we just don't know if the program is actually working. Ultimately, this is about public safety.
These guys are in Brisbane and their sister met a guy at university and she shacked up with him and they've had a child.
Women in the NSN appear to take on a trad wife role, expected to be homemakers who embrace motherhood. They post photos with captions like, "What a wonderful year it's been, welcoming so many healthy white babies."
How awful, embracing motherhood. It's the ABC, so if these ladies were Aboriginal and it said, "What a wonderful year it's been, welcoming so many healthy black babies," the ABC would be applauding that. But anyway, you can't be racist towards white people, can you? And just a reminder, that's what it was about. And that'll do. See you later. Bye.